Here are 5 tips to practice in intense summer heat. I'm Dr. David, orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and author of That's Gotta Hurt, The Injuries That Change Sports Forever. And I provide education, information, commentary on all sorts of sports and exercise, injuries and injury treatments and injury prevention for athletes and active people so that you can stay healthy and perform your best. It's that time of year. High school football, college football are starting practices, and it's hot, it's humid all over the country. But these tips, yes, they could apply to summer football practice, but really any kind of training that you do in these hot and humid conditions. It could be running, it could be playing soccer, it could be doing any number of things. Here are 5 tips so that you can continue to train, but you do it safely. Number 1, drink water throughout the day, not just during practice. You lose a lot of fluid, a lot of body fluid through sweat during practice. And if all you're doing to replace that is drinking during practice, you're probably going to be dehydrated. So you need to drink a lot of fluid all throughout the day. Even trying to drink a lot before practice is probably helpful, but it's not going to do the trick. And if you drink too much, you may cramp and have stomach pain, that kind of thing. So drink small amounts of fluid throughout the day to make sure you're getting enough fluid. Tip number 2, weigh yourself before practice and then again after practice to see if you've put back on all the fluid you lost in sweat. If you weigh a certain amount before practice and you've lost 4 pounds by the end of practice, you've lost a lot of body weight in fluid. So you should be drinking enough during practice so that your body weight after the practice is the same as it was before. It's a good rule of thumb, relatively easy to check. So definitely weigh yourself before and after practices. Okay, tip number 3 is if your practice is going to be longer than an hour in this intense heat and humidity, you might consider sports drinks that have electrolytes and a little bit of sugar to help absorb the fluid. But the electrolytes are important because in all that sweat you lose a little bit of sodium and potassium, and these sports drinks can help replenish those. You don't typically need them if your training is only 30 or 45 minutes, but an hour or longer, a lot of nutritionists feel like that's a good use of sports drinks. Tip number 4 is to get used to the heat gradually. Starting day 1, it's not the time for two-a-days and wearing tons of equipment. You got to get your body used to it. So I usually tell the high school and college kids, even before, at the beginning of summer, start getting used to the heat slowly, getting good cardiovascular condition, and then start adding in your exposure to the heat. When you're talking about practices, when you can, move them to early in the morning or at night when the temperatures are a little bit lower, but maybe short periods of time, and you gradually increase the length of the practices. You add in two-a-days slowly, not right off the bat. You add in the equipment and the pads slowly, not right off the bat, so that you get your body used to the hot and humid conditions and you don't overheat because you're not ready for it. There's a lot of issues there. It's called acclimatization, and that's very, very important, especially in the team sports. Tip number 5 is to let your coaches know, let your athletic trainers know if you start to feel sick or you don't feel good. If you're starting to get nauseated or dizzy or you just don't feel good, let somebody know. Even let a teammate know. Get out of the practice, get to a shaded area or get inside where it's cooler. Get the pads off if you've got pads. Drink lots of fluids, but deal with this very early. And then watch for teammates, because if it gets past a certain point that you lose the ability to tell people that you're starting to feel sick, they can start to see that something's not right, and you do that for some other from your teammates as well. This is all about prevention, preventing you from having trouble with the heat, and then if you start to have trouble, you deal with it immediately. Again, get into the shade, cooler area, start drinking fluids. If it's gotten really bad, get the ice baths and have them get you into an ice bath, or you do that for your teammates. But letting your coaches or athletic trainers know is very, very important. You follow those 5 things, I think you can largely avoid a lot of the problems that come with training in hot and humid conditions. Okay, do you have any others? Are there any other tips you would recommend to keep people safe in these really hot, really humid conditions? I'd love to hear them. So below this video, share your ideas on what we can do to make exercise and make sports in hot and humid conditions as safe as possible. If you like videos like this and you want more information on sports and exercise, injuries, injury treatments, and injury prevention, subscribe to my video channel. In YouTube, click the button in the upper right corner of the page. I record a couple of these videos every single week and they'll get delivered directly to you. Thank you so much for watching. Again, do what you can to stay safe in these hot and humid conditions. Share your ideas if there's some that I didn't mention, and I look forward to seeing you right here next time.